Told a lot of lies about achievement. They called you when they got you to believe it. Thumb and finger held to their foreheads in an L shape. Trapped in a capitalist hellscape. Let's fight back and have some talks about class and the massive cost of the disastrous plots of fascists and Nazis, fat cats and fox. It's 1,000 natural shocks. A Bad with Money podcast.
Hello and welcome to 1,000 Natural Shocks, a Bad with Money podcast. I'm your host, Gabe S. Dunn. And with me today, we have one of the faces of LA Taco, a website that I talk about a lot, actually, on this show, because they have become the local news source for what's going on in LA on the ground with anti-ICE activism and ICE activity more than any other, in my opinion. Izzy doesn't have to agree. Izzy, do you want to tell my audience who you are and what you do?
Yeah, so my name is Izzy Ramirez. I work with LA Taco covering the ICE raids, Border Patrol raids over with Memo. We do something called the Daily Memo. That's what my main focus is. So we try to keep track of all the raids and bring the information to you so that we can remind everyone that just because it's happening in Minneapolis and Maine doesn't mean that they've left here. So I do a couple other stories with them as well, if I'm able to find them. I try to cover stuff on the ground over here, but I also do some international news. Like today, the Liam was released, the little boy, yeah. So, but yeah, I've been with them for a little bit. It hasn't been too long. It feels like I've been with them for a long fucking time.
Yeah, well, every day is a few months.
Yeah, really.
Can you explain the Daily Memo further? Memo is the man's name, but it's also like a play on, the getting the information daily. So can you talk about the Daily Memo?
Yeah, so the Daily Memo was started by Memo back in June. I believe like June 12th, something like that. But he's been doing this for a long time. So the way they explained it was that if we're going to be covering tacos and all this Mexican food, all this Latino culture and other cultures in Los Angeles, then we need to talk about how they're being treated by the administration. So they started getting videos that they could find online and talking about everywhere that they are every single day. So what he does is he compiles into a document that he also uploads onto lataco.com. And he lists out all the raids and starts to describe them as best as he can. And he just goes down the list of everywhere that they've been. It's kind of evolved more recently. Now we're talking about like patterns that we're noticing, specific like situations, and then we'll cover a little bit of local news. But that's how it started. So it's all basically just to give people that idea of where they are, where they've been, and then we also do a little bit of data collection to have like a real understanding of how they operate, where they're going to be. So now that we have like a general idea of how they work, we try to talk about that as much as often. So we'll talk about identifying Border Patrol versus ICE, where they're coming out of, where they're going. And then I also do something called a daily tracker. So at like 9, 10 in the morning when I start seeing the raids, I start uploading what I'm seeing onto that and post it. And then most of that gets translated over into the Daily Memo at some point where we talk about it at night. We don't do it every single night. We try to. It's just you can't. It's fucking exhausting. But that's essentially what it is. Information about the raids, local news, everything that's uploaded onto the website too. So people have sent us like spreadsheets and shit that they've made. But yeah, it's really all it is. It's just a local made daily news report.
So can you talk about why it's overwhelming? Because it's been interesting. So yesterday, we're talking on February 1st. Yesterday and the day before, there was like a huge outpouring of hundreds of thousands of people in LA, more so than we've seen in a long time. And you mentioned earlier that, what's happening in Minneapolis has been happening in LA this entire time. And I've spoke to some people post the day before and yesterday, and they had no idea what was going on. They had not seen anything. They did not know anything about what had happened on the 31st. So can you explain what you guys have been covering, how much has been happening? And I mean, I'll ask you later about why you don't think it's showing up anywhere else. But what have you been covering? What has been happening in LA this entire time? And the numbers that you guys are seeing.
Yeah, so I've been doing this since August or so. I started doing it on myself. It's just been escalating, and we've been telling people that it's just escalating more and more. There's just we've seen patterns in specific places, and there's operations that the administration does do, and it's clear as day. Like recently, there was the Operation Angel's Honor. I don't know if it was directly why they were over in Santa Maria, San Luis Obispo, Santa Barbara County, but they had taken like over 140 people, I think, in a span of 3 days. So stuff like that makes it difficult to cover cover because we can't go over 140 people on top of the people they took in Los Angeles and San Diego and Orange County. We try to condense it, and then we still have to compile it because I mean we try to keep it humane. I mean I don't they're not numbers or people. I try to go over every single one, but like you said, it's just been escalating. It's just shocking that just people in Los Angeles, they don't think it's happening. I mean, it's been getting exponentially worse. And the thing is that we communicate with watch teams. We know these people, and we've also seen the retaliation that they face all the time. In the last week alone, they arrested three community watchers in like 1 week, and we don't see stuff like that. Like we haven't seen stuff like that. So every time we talk about it getting worse, the numbers just get higher. Their tactics change. We've seen the shift from ICE to Border Patrol. We saw the way things got more violent when the ICE field directors went from ICE to Border Patrol directors. So we've seen them get more violent and the escalation of them breaking windows, pulling people out of their cars, aiming their guns at people. So we've
Shooting
seen,
rubber bullets.
yeah, yeah, but then they also have their guns, like actual weaponry. Like we've seen them pull them out. Like that specific agent Aaron Pata, he pulled his gun out on Defense Santa Ana, the Santa Ana Watch team. He also pulled them out on some people in Los Angeles. So we've seen them go from like a little bit more docile to just like flat outright violent. So we've seen that escalate. We used to cover like 20 people a day, maybe in like 2, 3 days. But now every day it's like 20, 25 a day. And then some days it's more. Like I just was doing last night the what happened on the 28th, and there was 31 people. There's been days before, but there's like 50 people, and it just like I said, it just gets worse, and we're seeing it like every single day, and in a pattern wave. So we'll also note that they're coming from Terminal Island. We know that Border Patrol is going to go to Orange County, and then I'm still trying to keep track of the ICE down in San Diego because they have a whole like different thing going on down there. But it's just an escalation that we've seen basically, and that's what we try to tell people. Like it's not going to go anywhere. It's happening. It's still here. Everything in Minneapolis, everything in Maine, their stuff is just so specific to them. They're dealing with like what Memo says is where Bovina goes, the show goes, which is true. Like when Bovina's there, they want to focus on that specific city. But like everywhere else, ICE, wherever they were before that, they're still there. They're still down in San Diego. They're still here in Los Angeles. They're still in Orange County. They're still in Santa Barbara. There's like Florida still has their ICE agents. New York still has their ICE agents. All these
Chicago.
they're still Chicago. Yeah, they're still there. They haven't
Mhm.
left. And those numbers might not be as high during the whole shit show with Bovino being there, but they're still pretty high. I mean, December I had counted 470 people just in Southern California. And like I said before that, back then I would get like 150 people in a month. Like August, I think I had counted 97 people. From August to December to go from 97 to over 470 is a huge shift. It's huge. That's all we're seeing, just worse numbers, higher numbers.
Yeah, I'm tensing up my shoulders. Do you think it's because California is so spread out that people in LA have the ability to ignore the way that maybe other cities don't? And I'm also just perpetually frustrated and confused by how people in certain parts of LA, like they don't view these areas that they deem as Latino or poorer as like worth thinking about. It's like been kind of a very different vibe here.
Mhm. I feel like it's a mixture of California nonchalance, to be honest, with also the idea of so many transplants being here and not really understanding like the history of what Los Angeles is. Like I feel like a lot of people, like if I go to Echo Park right now and I sit down with some people at a cafe that aren't from here and I ask them like, do you know like what Echo Park was in the 90s, who like created the culture here? I don't think they would like truly understand like what that is. So when they're not in that sphere of culture, like actually in it, instead of just using it and taking photos of it, then I think they kind of like disconnect and they just don't think about how those people are being attacked right now, you know? And I don't know, it really just feels like nonchalance and just transplants that don't really, I mean, I kind of understand that when you come here, you feel like you don't truly belong. And I feel
Mhm.
like there's just too much individualism. Like you're just thinking about your own self and your culture here and not thinking about how down the street, like that food vendor that you get food from is putting themselves at risk every single morning. And
Mhm.
then when you stop seeing them, like there's a huge chance that they got fucking kidnapped by a Border Patrol agent during a roving raid at some point. And it's happened before. We've gotten like messages like that where they're like, hey, I don't see my food vendor anymore. I think something happened. And then we'll talk to some people and people will connect with a family member. It's like, yeah, they got taken like a week ago. You know, like
Mhm.
people, it is happening there. I think it's just a disconnection, if I'm being honest. And it's
Yeah,
also, I
yeah,
mean, it's also like, I don't like beating around the bush. I mean, a lot of people don't care about brown people. They just don't. They don't think
they
about
don't.
other colors and other races and thinking about like what could be happening to them or how they're feeling. Because there's a lot of fear with these people, you know, like we're all a little bit scared, but there's also a lot of strength. I want to say that there's a lot of community watch teams and there's a lot of hope and there's a lot of people that are they're resisting strongly that are people of color. But that's just me. I over explain a lot. Every time I do these. I'll
No, no, no. I want
go
you to
off on a
because
tangent.
people are listening from all over. This isn't like an LA based podcast. So I try to bring like news from where we are because I do feel there is somewhat of a media blackout.
Mhm.
Can you talk a little bit about that? Like, it must be wild to cover this stuff for LA Taco, which is, again, like you alluded to, was like a food website
Mhm.
and has now become what it is. Although it was doing this kind of thing. Like, I spoke to Lexus, who's one of your freelancers, or maybe he's on staff by now, but I spoke to him in 2020 on this podcast because you guys had shifted to a more political sphere. Can you talk a bit about like the frustration and why this might be?
Oh, like why we're doing what we're doing alone, basically.
Well, just yeah, because like so at the protest on the 31st, all this press, national press, was around the corner getting quotes from Don Lemon, whose arraignment was around the corner, and we tried to say, how go around to the MDC, look at what's happening over there, look at the violence that CPB and ICE and DHS are inflicting over there, and CBS came over, and the guy from CBS was recording and doing stuff. And then later we got a tip that they weren't going to use his footage.
Oh,
So things
wow.
like that are happening all the time. So what the fuck?
Yeah, I think it's just sensationalism and just the way that journalists think about wanting to catch the moment about
Mhm.
things that will be so breaking. We don't do that. We never really have. Like when I was down at the with Don Lemon, I wasn't desperate to get a photo of him. I wanted to hear him say something. I didn't put it on video because he didn't reply. It's just because even he wanted to do his speech. Obviously, he didn't reply what I asked, but I asked him like, is there something that you'd like to say to young brown journalists that are witnessing this in real time while their freedom of press is being attacked? That's what I wanted to know. I wasn't desperate to get a photo of him. I feel like that's just what's different. Like legacy media is just so tied to catching like something that's just sensational and large. That's why they're so focused on Bovino, because saying Bovino did something will get them views, it will get them the attention. But showing a video of a kid getting shot by a rubber bullet, a brown kid getting shot by a rubber bullet isn't something that's gonna do anything to a lot of people. And I mean, it sucks to say that, but it is what it is. It's exactly
Mhm.
what it is. I think that's why. Also, I mean, we don't like. I mean, you've seen this. Like Lex was in the kettle yesterday when he was covering the protest.
I
I
saw.
left. Yeah, I mean, I left. I couldn't. I didn't want to get more tear gas. I was sick of it. Yesterday was already fucking annoying enough as it was, but
Yeah.
he was like in there and he was getting footage of himself getting shot by pepper balls. He was also not being let go. So it's just everyone's just they want to catch all this news that's just gonna be shocking and breaking. But that's
Mhm.
like what their motive is. We just don't do that. We don't want to. We want to like show what the fuck is actually happening, which is why I go down to MDC. It's why we try to not to skip over numbers. We try to talk about every single person being taken. People
Mhm.
just like legacy media news just wants to have a big story every day, one or two, and that's it. Like even with what's happening with Liam, like I'm
Yeah.
glad he's out. There's so many other kids in that detention center. Like
Mhm.
they should also be trying to get people in there to see like what those kids are dealing with, what those kids are seeing. And then there's also the idea that they just want to cling to like individual stories, forgetting that there's all these like everyone's a story. I mean, when you got down to MDC, like yesterday, there was a lot of kids there. Even the day before, there was so many fucking kids. Like those
Mhm.
are our brown kids as well, and they're getting tear gas, they're getting shot with their bullets. I spoke with one of the people that got shot in the eye yesterday, and telling me that he's gonna lose vision in his eye. Like,
Young
can you?
person.
Yeah, a young brown fucking kid. I mean, can you?
Mhm.
Like those people deserve to have their stories told as well. Just because they're not Bovino or they're not being attacked by Bovino doesn't mean they're not worthy of it. I think that's all it is. They're so focused on these big news stories and not like what's actually happening in their community. So they overlook all the other raids that are happening, especially in
Mhm.
Los Angeles. I mean, why isn't NBC covering it over here? Why isn't KTLA covering our raids? They just don't want
Yeah.
to. It's all it is they don't want to. They don't think it's important, in my opinion.
No, I agree. The irony is that by missing these stories, LA Taco has become, by the mainstream missing these stories, LA Taco has become the only resource I care about. That's the irony, is that if they were doing that, they would perhaps have a bigger audience of people who care. And it's been really frustrating. I mean, the level of LA Taco, they take you have a subscription, and I buy a lot of merch from you guys because I do love the designs. And I had a guy sleep over, and he was like, "Oh, can I borrow some clothes?" And he took like the LA Taco socks that I have, and the immediate, like, I was like, "He has to give those back." Like I had the immediate like, oh no, he took the best ones. No, 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 no. But then it's like, how can you be rude by being like, not those socks?
Yeah.
But
I don't know what it is with the socks. We had our
they're
fun
so
dinner. They
cool.
fucking like they were gone in like 10
They're
minutes.
great. If you can get your hands on some, I'm gonna have to demand those back. But anyway, so yeah, so the irony is that, and then it's also that these legacy media have so much money and you guys don't. Or like the average person, the people that are doing this fight, that are getting tear gas, that are getting shot at, it is largely people of color. It is largely people that don't have money. Like it's wild to me the amount of people in my life, because I used to work in entertainment, that are sitting on tons of money. And meanwhile, we pass the same $5 around.
Yeah, for real. No, truly, dude. Like they fucking cry if you buy them a pizza. And
Exactly. They don't, I think it's just this thing that's been breaking my mind lately is that there's this inability to see that a small amount of money could help. Like, I'm not going to be able to buy out a vendor entirely, but can I get 5 or 6 flowers? Yeah. And am I going to do that? Yeah, because just because you can't do the full thing doesn't mean do nothing. And
yeah.
that's been like this like stopgap for people that is just I have to figure out how to get over their mindset and push on that a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's also just a bit of the class divide. I mean,
It's huge.
obviously, when we like see a food vendor, we don't think like there's a food vendor. We like look at them and it's like our mom or dad. That's, I do understand like that disconnection from it. But me, yeah, I mean the class divide. I don't think people understand like what their money really does. Like giving that food vendor $20 is, I mean, it's not gonna send them home, obviously, but
But it's huge.
10 people do it and they can go fucking rest inside and be safe for a little bit,
Hmm.
before they go back out. It's their livelihood and it's just a risk for them to do it every single day. And I don't
The
know.
class divide is so huge I mean, it's huge in most cities, obviously, but it's so huge in LA. I mean, even it's interesting, like, I have pettily left some group chats of white people doing my duty. And the ability for some people around me to live in Los Angeles and not have a single brown friend is crazy.
Yeah, it's a choice too,
It
because I mean,
must
what the
be.
fuck? It's Los Angeles. I mean, that's just so insane, dude. I don't know. I wish I could understand some of that stuff. I grew up in a underclass brown neighborhood. I mean, I still had white friends. I had Indian friends. I had a different line American friends, you know.
Hmm.
I don't know. I just don't get it. I really don't. I've always like tried to understand what like the reason is for it. I get like the whole tribalism thing, tribalism.
Sure.
But I don't know. I've never seen that. Every like Latino I know knows fucking white people, you know. Then you speak to like big groups of white people in Los Angeles and you're like, do you not have a Latino friend? Like, come on. Like it's Los Angeles. It's mostly Hispanic. Like at least talk to your food vendor and become fucking best friends with them. Like what the fuck?
Yeah,
Jesus.
that's the thing too, is it was interesting. I mean, I'm glad it was happening, but it was very interesting when the raids first started going down and white people were like, "No, they took my food vendor." And my first thought was, "You don't know any other Latinos?"
Yeah, honestly. You just know the person that you buy fucking fruit and tacos from. Like,
You
come
don't know any other Latinos? That's crazy.
It's just it's nuts. Honestly, I haven't been in Los Angeles like super long. I grew up in Anaheim, but I've always
Okay.
come in and out. But like actually living here, it's like the whole like the class divide is so in your face. It's so bizarre. I've never like witnessed it so upfront like that before. I've also never met so many people that like don't know shit about Latinos like ever. I don't know. I'm still like new
Mm,
to all this too. I've never been in a fucking world like this. I've
like an
always been.
activist space or like a journalism space?
Just like I don't know how to explain it, a space that's where there's more people with money. I really it sounds so corny, but I've never been around stuff like that before. So I'm still like figuring that out too, how they think and interact, I guess, if that makes sense. I've never been around spaces like that. I was gonna say even like gay spaces in Anaheim because we have like Bravo and that's just all Latinos, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just new to me, if I'm being honest.
I mean, I wonder, and I'll get bleak here. So, a few of us were talking about why we got so involved immediately in what was going on downtown in June. And there was like this kind of like dark joking thing about, well, were you kind of suicidal before this? And then you thought it doesn't really matter what happens to me. I'm going to go down and try to help people. And it was from a place of wanting to help people, obviously, like being, empathetic and caring. But it also, there was a tinge of for a lot of us, I don't care what happens to me.
Yeah.
And that is maybe why there was so many marginalized people involved. If we see like a cis white man, like John sticks out like a sore thumb. Like
Mhm.
John is our gray-haired cis straight white man. And I wonder if there is I'm not a scientist. I wonder if there is an element of the people wanting to be involved and fight back and feeling strongly because there is a hint of I'm not attached to what happens to me.
I get what you mean. I've always kind of felt like that too, because it makes
Yeah.
sense. Almost every activist or protester or someone that you've met that's out there has had something happen to them. That I think for you to have like a bigger increase in empathy, you have had it to at some point been denied empathy for you to just want to apply it so much to people outside of who you are. And I mean, all of them are traumatized. Even if someone just went out there for a little bit, I think, and witnessed like what's really happening down there, then I think their empathy just increases more than what it already was. Especially because I think it's just so shocking to hear about things, but then just actually seeing it. It's just so insane. And I feel like sometimes you can even like see people like wake up when you see these protests. Like all those people that got tear gas and saw the DHS come out with their guns. I think it just like does something to you. I don't know how to explain it, but I don't know. I always was curious about that too. If there's any studies on it, how that works, because it does seem like everyone that has more empathy was treated like absolute dog shit at some,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, all I thought on the 31st was, wow, they really radicalized some teens today. Because if you see your friends tear gassed and screaming and shot at, you're going to be like, wait. A lot of my problem with some of the white people I've spoken to and some of the No King stuff, which I love. I'm a big fan. But some of it is, it's clear a lot of these people have never had a negative interaction with the police.
Hmm. Yeah.
So there's still this element of like, well, if something really bad happened, I would run to them. When I went down there, it's really a traumatizing and a tough pill to swallow to look into the eyes of someone in body armor and see either nothing behind their eyes or
Mhm.
see like hatred.
Yeah.
It freaks every time it freaks me out to be like, oh my God, there's like that guy fucking hates me.
Yeah, like there's something wrong with you, man. I
They're
don't
gonna
know.
kill me. They're gonna kill me and be completely fine with it.
Yeah, I mean, they're kind of taught to be above people. I was an
Hmm.
administration of justice major, so I did some cop classes, and the stuff that they teach is just so fucking weird. I mean,
Hmm.
they go through like lectures about how people fucking hate them and how you have to be above it, blah, 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 blah. Like they're already instilling the idea that you're not gonna work for the people. Like, why would you go on a huge rant about that? You're just like making people not want to help people, you know? And
Hmm.
that's why I love that people are chanting who do you work for? Who do you serve? Because I think they should be asking themselves that. Who are
Right?
you serving by attacking protesters? Who are you serving by shooting rubber bullets at fucking 19-year-olds? Like
Hmm.
what is your purpose? Do you
Hmm.
understand what your purpose right now is? I've
Hmm.
even seen it with Border Patrol. There's a handful of agents that are just trying to mock like everybody recording them, and it's just so clear as day that they were just bullies or they were bullied at some point. Because why are you doing that? Like if you're supposed to be protecting the people, why are you so upset that you're being recorded? Why does that bother you if
Right.
you're doing the right thing? Unless you
Yeah.
fear that those videos are going to be used against you in the future, which maybe means that maybe you're not doing the right thing.
They were installed with fear from the beginning. I was watching a friend of mine on live, a journalist friend of mine on live last night being harassed by the cops. They kept saying, well, I'm press. You have to let me out because they're being kettled, which means the cops block you in.
Mm.
And they kept saying, I'm press, I'm press. They weren't really believing them. And then at some point, this really blew my mind. At some point, there's, I would say, 30 to 40 cops in riot gear, full riot gear, helmets, blocked off, armor. And my friend is in shirt and shorts. And the cop says, move slowly, move slowly. And my friend is like, okay, I'm moving, I'm moving. And then the cop says, you have to move slowly because I don't know if you have a weapon. And it
Wow.
blew my mind because I was like, we know that 40 people in this vicinity do have a weapon. And this person is 5'3" in shirt and shorts. And this guy is in full riot gear. And he's like, go slow. We don't know if you have a weapon. What is the fear mentality?
It's justification,
It's
honestly.
crazy.
Yeah. It's so fucking weird. It's just to justify them because if they act a certain way and they tell the courts that they acted out of fear, then so much stuff gets justified in court just because of
Hmm.
it. I think that's why they're just so heavy on that. It's insane. Those classes I'm talking about were just barbaric. I mean,
What'd they say?
they go through intimidation tactics. They try to like show you how to manipulate people into like revealing stuff about them that you can use and at some point to arrest them. They also go through the course of explaining that essentially even if you fuck up something, like even if you go through the what's it called? The doctrine, the fruit of the poisonous tree doctrine where
Ah, yeah.
essentially yeah, if you make one mistake, everything else gets dismissed in court. But they explain that I mean judges can just like dismiss all this stuff all the time. And they do, you know, because they do side with the police. So they kind of like tell you that even if you fuck up, as long as you're cool with judges, you should be fine. It's kind of like the spiel of
Mm,
what they go through. They
mm-hmm,
obviously go through like everything you shouldn't do to fuck up a case, but they do like consistently remind you like a judge could excuse it and it could still be used in court. And then, so they instill fear and then they're telling you if you fuck up, judges can still pardon your mistake. Like what do you think that makes, you know? Like obviously
mm-hmm,
you're having all these cops that become crooked cops and then, or they start to think in their own way like a gang. I mean, the LA gang, sheriff gangs were a thing, like police gangs were a thing. And so these people aren't like being taught to serve the public. They're being taught to avoid the public almost, you know,
mm-hmm,
and to treat the public like objects, like you're kind of like what they do with the military. They're so obsessed with like complete the mission, like, and not explaining like what is the mission for and who is the mission for. It's
mm-hmm,
supposed to be for us. We're paying you
mm-hmm,
our taxes. Like you're supposed to be doing this stuff for us. It's so fucking weird.
mm-hmm.
This is the all I could really say. It's just fucking weird.
Yesterday or the day before, a friend of mine took a picture of a helmet that one of the officers was wearing and it had a patch on it. And we were trying to figure out what the patch was. And it's like a patch from like a pirate flag that means take no prisoners, don't be a prisoner. That's on your fucking helmet?
Yeah, and they're supposed to be
Bro,
protecting the public.
they're
Sir,
cosplay. I was like, you fucking cosplay ass, fucking Call of
yeah,
Duty ass.
that's the part that's so fucking crazy. It really is, dude. It's like grown fucking kids that think they're
Mm-hmm.
in Call of Duty. They think it's
Mm-hmm.
fucking modern warfare. And then when we're the target, which is so fucking like weird.
Yeah. Can you talk? We touched on press stuff, but there's been a lot of wild back and forth about what you're allowed to do to the press, what you can't do to the press, police, what safety you guys have. So can you run through that a little bit?
Yeah, last night I saw it with Lex. He was telling them that they're exempt from being kettled to begin with like that. You're supposed to be let go. As press, you don't even have to have credentials. You don't need to have visible badges and credentials to show that you're a press. That's against it's all lawful.
They were
If you
asking
try to
him, they kept
identify.
asking him, show your credentials, show your
Yeah.
credentials.
And you don't have to have credentials. Not in the United States to be press. That's not how it works. As long as you're a fucking press and you can just tell them, like, you have a fucking camera. As long as it's obvious, you're press. You don't have to have a helmet that says press. All that stuff that you see isn't to prove that they're press. It's so they don't get shot, and they still
Yep.
do, you know. It's just so they don't get hurt. You don't have to have that stuff as a press. I normally don't. I know I should. I do have a little badge, but for LA Taco, but I don't even really bring it all the time. I just have it on me in case I have to show it. But you don't have to have that stuff to show that you're press. When he got kettled, you're supposed to let those people go. You're not supposed to be shooting the press. You're not supposed to be intimidating the press. You're not even really. They're not even really supposed to like say shit to them at all.
Mm-hmm.
You're allowed to be there throughout the whole thing. They're exempt from what's the word? Orders of dispersal. They're all everything that is basically there to tell protesters to leave. They're essentially exempt from. We are allowed to be there during the dispersal order because we're documenting it. We're not supposed to be getting kettled in. We're not supposed to be getting intimidated. We're not supposed to be getting hurt. It's literally their job to not hurt us and to keep that right safe. It's what the law is for. But yeah, with Lexa, it was just insane. I
Well, I
honestly,
think they know who he is by now, and I will allege that they kind of shoot him on purpose.
yeah, honestly, I feel that way too. He's been hurt so much. It was so horrible, dude.
He
And
was
he's a person
running
of
away.
color.
That video where he's running away. Yeah, we should mention Lex is black. He's running away in one of the videos and they shoot him.
Yeah, literally, he's backing away and he's pressed. And he has all the shit too.
He
He
has
has the
press
press
written all
badge.
over over him. Yeah.
Like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
It's literally intimidation, and it's against the law to be doing that stuff. You can't do that.
But who's going to enforce it?
Yeah, that's the issue. It's their job to enforce it, and but they're not. They are the law enforcement.
So let's talk about in terms of enforcing. LAPD is not enforcing any of the laws being broken by ICE or CPB or DHS. And they show up at the end of the protest to arrest everyone. And they are just as guilty, just as part of this. And then this week, LA Chief of Police Jim McDonnell said that he is not going to be enforcing the law that was passed from Gavin Newsom, I think, that LAPD should enforce ICE agents and DHS, and you're not allowed to be law enforcement and wear a mask, right? And so that's supposed to be happening. And then Jim McDonnell just straight up to the press was like, we can't enforce that.
Mm-hmm.
So can you talk about the collaboration and what you've seen in that regard?
Yeah, I think it would shock people how much police do help.
Hiring isn't just about finding someone willing to take the job. I need the right person with the right background who can move our business forward. If I wanted candidates who match what I'm looking for, I'd trust Indeed-sponsored jobs. I actually found my job on Indeed, and it was so easy to search through what I wanted to do and my skills and find the right place that was looking for exactly what I could offer. Hiring, Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job post even seen on other sites. Give your job the best chance to be seen with Indeed-sponsored jobs. They help you stand out and hire quality candidates who can drive the results you need. Sponsored jobs boost your post for quality candidates so you can reach the exact people you want faster. And it makes a big difference. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed are 90% more likely to report a hire than non-sponsored jobs because you reach a bigger pool of quality candidates. Join the 1.6 million companies that sponsor their jobs with Indeed. Spend more time interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Less stress, less time, more results. Now with Indeed sponsored jobs. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/badwithmoney. Just go to Indeed.com/badwithmoney right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/badwithmoney. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Do it the right way with Indeed.
Trading at Schwab is now powered by Ameritrade, bringing you an expanding library of education with even more ways to sharpen your trading skills. Access new online courses, insightful webcasts, articles, engaging videos, and more, all curated just for traders. Plus, guided learning paths with content designed to fit your unique interests. No sifting to find exactly what you need so you can spend your time learning to trade brilliantly. Learn more at schwab.com/trading.
ICE and Border Patrol.
Andrea Velez gave testimony at the House Oversight Democrats Committee. I was there. She said that LAPD handed her over to ICE.
Yeah.
All of the House Democrats that were in that meeting asked follow-up questions of her. For the record, not a single one brought up the thing about LAPD.
Really? I don't know what it is about people that think it's like normal. Like it's just so fucking weird. They're not supposed to help at all. SB, what is it, 57, I think?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of nuance. Like they can help under specific conditions, but they have to meet a criteria. It has to be like a violent case. This person needs to be fucking a threat. There's like a specific thing that you have to do, and then they can help Border Patrol and ICE. And then there's also the jail contracts for people that they can work with them specifically just so the police can help them. I forget. There's just so many codes. I forgot it, but
The police can help them do arrests.
yeah, it's they don't do it here because SB 57 stops that, but they do in other states. 287G is what it is. So we actually used to have 287G at the Lacey in Orange County, and so we kind of saw how it works. Police used to be able to do that. It's just you can't do that anymore. California has no 287G contracts. What they're not supposed to really assist them in general. They're supposedly supposed to keep the peace, LAPD or any PD really, and they use that as an excuse to just like let Border Patrol do anything. It just doesn't make any sense. They're there to protect the peace, but then if masked men and women are in a car, just driving down, going through red lights, busting all kinds of illegal U-turns and just grabbing people. And then if those community watchers come out and just record them and Border Patrol antagonizes them or starts fucking pulling guns on them and police is there, they side with Border Patrol and
Correct.
ICE and start protecting them, alluding to the fact and depending on the fact that they are there to keep the peace. Like the question I was asked is, who are you keeping the peace for? Like who are you keeping this peace for? And they've also done it in different ways that are just like sneaky. Like I've seen Orange County, or even recently here, actually, this is kind of new. Police are just getting in front of community watchers so they can't follow Border Patrol. And it's a First Amendment right. If you didn't know, there's like so many rights that you have that you should know. You can follow Border Patrol, you can follow ICE. It's completely legal to do that. You can record them. In California, they don't have the reasonable right to private conversations in public settings. So if they're having a conversation, you can go up and just fucking record them. It's your legal right to do so. But anyway, they're not literally enforcing that stuff. So they're just completely deterring people from practicing that First Amendment right. They're getting in front of them. They're not letting them follow the vehicles. In Orange County, I've seen them escort Border Patrol out of neighborhoods
Mm-hmm.
because people are yelling at them. Like they're just assisting them in such undermining ways that you really wouldn't think. But there are situations like you mentioned where they do hand people over. Like the community watcher Maria from a couple of days ago in El Monte, she did community watch. Border Patrol like kettled her in. They boxed her in her vehicle. They broke her window. She
The
called the police
video
for
is
help.
terrifying.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy, and it's just so crazy because I know these people, I know these community watchers. Yeah, they boxed her in. She called the police. Atlanta PD just gets there and they just don't do anything. They just like step to the side while these masked people are completely impeding.
Kidnapping a young woman.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like people don't think about that. Like, there's a lot of women that get taken, like masked men in a tinted vehicle taking women, and a lot of times they're alone. Like, how do you think that's like, what do you think comes out of that? You know, like we're already seeing the confessions, like the man that was raping a woman over in the facility and using that to let her see photos of her own kid. Like, and then we have them out in the public just taking people in a masked, unmarked vehicle and tinted fucking windows, and there's just one woman in there.
That was my fear. That was my fear as soon as because I was like they took her because she's pretty.
Yeah, literally. And then fucking when she told them she needed to use the bathroom, they stepped out and forced her just to use it in public in a bush. Like that's just so fucking ridiculous, dude. But the PD is just like watching this stuff happen, and either they'll protect Border Patrol or ICE, not the people, and or they'll escort them, they'll cut people off to make people stop following them, and they're always using the excuse of keeping the peace. And like I said already, like who are you keeping the peace for?
Is it peaceful for them to steal a woman? It's peaceful.
Exactly. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, there's this overarching like thing with our mayor and our governor to not cooperate, and that they are like, I hate these people. Get them out of our, city, blah, blah, blah. And then I watched the other day, Karen Bass had a Homeland Security escort out of a building.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Some of the stuff that community watchers say, I think, makes the most sense, honestly, is when they tell PD directly, like, if you're not going to help, then stay the fuck out of our way. Like, don't impede on us then. If you're not going to do anything, then don't help them. We're practicing our right. So if you're not going to do anything, then just stay the fuck out of our way while we continue to do what we're doing. Because everything they do is legal. People think everything that they're doing is, well, not everyone. I'm saying like, everyone on the right thinks it's illegal and it's not. I think there's just to be like a refresher on like what you can do. Police aren't civilians. They're not under that privacy like protection. You can
Correct.
record them. You can record their conversations in public. Well, in California, not in every state, but you can record them 100%. You can take photos. You can legally follow them. I feel like that's the one that people don't like. Those people think that you can't. You can follow law enforcement. Stay a reasonable distance away. Record them, and that's fine. Like none of that is illegal. It's not illegal to do that. That's what they said though. Like if you're not gonna help, just stay out of our way because they are more or less inadvertently helping them on purpose, and they're doing it on purpose. They want to be like that because they're still all law enforcement.
Yeah.
And then there's also I don't know if everyone caught it, but during Kristi Noem's court trial, there was a representative from California. I forgot who it was. It might have been Lou. Anyway, he had gone up and spoke about how down in Orange County, the OC sheriffs, they wanted to hand people over, which already is something, but when they had pulled out the call to ICE to come pick these convicted criminals up, they didn't show up at all. Like they didn't even come get them. And then that just makes me think about like even if the police is collaborating when it comes to actual criminals, why aren't they even following through on what they're talking about? If you're there to get criminals and they have them right there, they're in a facility for you to grab. Why aren't you? Like what are you actually trying to accomplish if you're not going to do that? If it's the most basic thing that you're supposed to do?
Yeah. I mean, mean, even like press, I think, has even more ability to follow or to, go to. I mean, what, 15 years ago? Oh my God, I'm so old. 15 years ago, I worked as a crime reporter for the Boston Globe, and I had a police radio, and I was allowed to go wherever they were going. I got there and I could film whatever I wanted, and I would try to talk to them, and they were like kind of required to to give me some quotes. Like it was like a totally different. I mean, I was like a little white girl, and I surely did play that up. But oh, I would act like an idiot. I'd be like, "What are you guys doing? Oh my God, it looks so interesting. Wow."
You gotta use what you got.
You gotta use what you got. Yeah, it was just it like I don't know. There's a complete breakdown where they do want to impress. It's like propaganda. They want to impress. They don't want to be like Don Knotts in the Andy Griffith show. They want to be I don't know, whatever. What's John Krasinski's character? He's in some sort of Jack
Mm.
Reacher, whatever it is.
Oh
You know what I
yeah.
mean? They want it. They have this fantasy of being like a type of law enforcement that I think the media has portrayed more often. That like they're like, oh, I'm not Paul Blart Mall Cop. I'm like Mission Impossible.
Yeah, they it is, you can see it. They really want to be like the hero of some like movie that they've made up in their head, you
I
know?
know.
It just doesn't make sense. Which is also like the self-interest thing. Like your job is to protect people and serve the public, not to complete your mission in your fucking head, you know?
It is racism. It is
Mm.
completely racism. The reason it's not taking off as much in certain LA neighborhoods is racism. It's why a lot of people in LA aren't doing enough. I was really happy to see how many people showed up on January 31st or on was that when oh my God, what day is it? The 30th? The 30th.
Yeah, the 30th.
Holy shit. Like people are waking up to it, but it's to me I'm like, man, we're so deep now. Even the journalists that were arrested, all black. 6 of
Mhm.
them, all black.
Yeah, all of them are black reporters, black journalists. I still can't believe that happened. I'm even more shocked that we were there. Like,
That we were there.
yeah, but like seeing it like in person was so crazy. But yeah, they were all black journalists. It's just so blatantly racist, and people aren't even like covering it up. It just is, you know?
The guy from Fox News, when we were at the arraignment for Don Lemon, which I texted my mom, I was like, I've somehow ended up at Don Lemon's arraignment. Um like what is my life? But yeah, so the guy from Fox News was, I don't know if you caught, he yelled 3 questions. He got to ask 3 questions. Nobody else got to ask 3 questions. And he was yelling at Karen Bass, and he was like, there are reports that there were children in that church that couldn't get to their parents because the
Yeah.
protest was separating them. Is that acceptable behavior? And I was like, what is your deal? Like,
It was
do
so
you think
annoying.
you're real? Like, what are you talking about? Like, Don Lemon knew about the protest and he didn't immediately go to the police. He went to, is he a journalist or is he a protester?
I
I was
remember that
like,
guy, dude. It was so fucking like, what are
what?
you trying to do? Like, why are you here? It's the whole creating a narrative is what I think they call it. He's creating like a narrative on purpose, and it's so annoying. That dude was so
And I
annoying.
wanted to yell at Karen Bass. I had things I wanted to yell at her, and I felt like I couldn't bother her because I was like, I can't believe I'm supporting this woman. Like, I can't believe I'm like, hey, don't ask that of our mayor who I fucking hate. I was like, I'm not gonna give her more shit because this guy's a I'm not gonna I didn't want to give him the satisfaction.
Yeah, I'm like, I wanted to ask her so many things too. I really wanted to ask her about our churches because the day before the St. Paul Church protest, they had arrested, I don't want to say arrested, they kidnapped 2 people that were painting a church during service in Compton. They literally went up and disrupted their service. And it's
Hmm.
the day before that St. Paul thing, you know, and there was
Right,
kids there too. That's
right,
also the thing, like they're always talking about kids, what brown kids. We have kids
exactly.
too, dude. I
Right.
understand like those kids must have been scared in that church too because they don't know what the hell is happening. But what the fuck does that have to do with Don Lemon? You know,
What does that have to do with Don Lemon?
Don Lemon, dude. What a guy.
Don Lemon.
Love
Oh
him.
my God.
He's cool as hell. He really is. I didn't know he was
Yeah.
gay either. I was kind of happy about that. I had no idea.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of memes of him because his husband was like kind of leading him, like protecting him and stuff. And I saw memes that were like, it was like Don Lemon and it was like me. And then the husband, it was like the baddie I pulled by being insane.
There's so many memes of it. Yeah, I love it. It's so fucking funny.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how to bridge the gap or how to get people to look at media that is. I went on CNN after everything that happened downtown in LA. Nothing. Literally nothing.
I don't know what to do either. I don't know how to explain to people like care about your brown and black friends. I don't know. Like, I don't know how else to say it.
Because think about it, you're saying 140 people were kidnapped. That's a number. You said specifically, I'm trying to go through and make them all people.
Hmm.
And I think that a lot of white people see the number 140 and they just are like, okay. And they're not thinking that it is an individual person.
Yeah.
And we have a thing in Judaism, each person is a world.
And it's true. They have
Hmm.
families. And we see that shit so up close. Honestly, I'm like amazed at what El Taco has done for such a small company. Like we were able to speak to the family of Gabriel Garcia Aviles who had died at Adelanto. That's
Hmm.
one person. That's one story. 140 people. I spoke with a kid in Oxnard whose dad got taken during the glass house farmers raid in Oxnard. And then, no, his mom did. And then a month and a half late, no, 3 months and a half later or so, ICE agents were outside of his neighborhood, like so close to his house. And as his dad stepped out, they took his dad. Like it's a whole story. Like those are people with whole families, friends, like a whole group of people lost somebody, you know? It's
Hmm.
just like they're all people. That's why I try to do that. Like that's the only thing we can do on our end to humanize them a bit. Because it's a whole world, one person. 140 people is so like I'm honestly still in shock that happened. And sometimes time feels so unreal because it wasn't that long ago. It was like
Hmm.
less than a month ago, I think now. No, like a month ago now. It
Hmm.
feels like it was such a long time ago, but no, like in the span of 4 days, they took like 140 people in like three counties. And that's so many people. And they're all Latinos, they're
Yeah.
all people of color. And how can you not think it's racist, you know?
As a Jewish person, I get very frustrated, and I'm sure people will not like me saying this, but I get extremely frustrated because when the hostages were taken in Israel, a lot of Jewish people in my sphere went apeshit. They knew every hostage's name, they knew every hostage's story. They were freaking out. They were like, "Oh my god, people that were like someone was gone for 2 days. Everyone was fucking losing their minds over what might be happening to them." And I remember saying to when people were being kidnapped here, I remember saying to a Jewish person that I'm friends with, I would say Jewish, Zionists. It's Zionists, not Jews. A Zionist person. I remember saying to them, okay, so imagine that all these people being taken in LA, imagine they're Jewish.
Yeah.
You would be going fucking nuts.
Hmm.
And it's just kind of bizarre to me personally. This is my personal experience, and it does not speak for all Jewish people, and all Jewish people are not involved in Zionism. So I don't want to spread anti Semitism. I've written extensively about how I am deeply Jewish, but like it is fully bizarre to not make the connection. I saw a woman every day. She reads on Instagram. She reads from Anne Frank's diary, and all she's doing is reading. She's not giving her opinion. She's not saying it's connected to anything. She's just reading pages from the diary. People are losing their fucking minds in the comments. Oh, so like blah blah blah. So we're supposed to let illegals in from Biden. Like blah blah blah. Like they're reacting as if she's giving her opinion on the current moment,
Hmm.
and they're all like going nuts, being like all types of people, all types of people. And literally all she's doing is reading what happened in Nazi Germany.
That's really interesting.
It's
The connection that
bananas.
people make without realizing it is like
Mm.
just crazy that they like it's like already been made in their head, but they haven't like accepted it, I guess.
If
I
you
remember in the
think,
early times of this, there was a
yeah,
quote about that famous coach who's like there are people being missing, blah, blah, blah. I forgot the exact quote.
people are being taken out of their homes, children come home and their parents are gone. Correct.
And then people are like freaking out, you're right, in the comments, and the people are saying like it's just a post about what happened to Anne Frank. Like, why
Yeah,
did you
we're not saying
stop?
anything.
Yeah, like if your immediate thought is that, it's probably because it's also that happening, you know? Like you made the connection, maybe you should accept it now.
Right. It's just, I don't know how to make people care about other people.
Yeah. Honestly, I was thinking about this the other day because I mean being Latino is just weird because there is the idea that a lot of us do like labor jobs. A lot of us obviously we do work in restaurants, we work in hotels, we do labor. And I was trying to like figure out like what our role looks like to white supremacy. Like what do we look like? I was thinking about like Steven Universe because I was watching that show again because it's such a good show. It's like a comfort show to get really stoned and watch Steven.
Yeah, gay
Um,
people love it.
and I kept thinking like they explain like structures really well in a white supremacist role. And I was thinking like where do like Latinos fall in that structure? And I was thinking like they kind of like we're kind of viewed as like commodities because we're workers. And in my head, I'm
Right.
like, I wonder if like the way people view us from a more classist role is kind of the way that they use gems as objects, like the brush, the door. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like you
Yeah.
would be upset if they took your fucking door or your brush, but you wouldn't necessarily like care because they'll just find
Hmm.
another one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's kind of how I've been thinking. Maybe that's like how we're viewed unconsciously by people that are upholding white supremacy, even if they don't really realize it. Like the whole idea of people going up to me like, "Oh no, like those are my friends, those are immigrants." Even that in itself just kind of shows that they're not like really grasping like who we are. You
Hmm.
know, I don't really like to call myself or anyone I know like an immigrant necessarily. We are Americans. Like we're from this side of the continent. Like even like historically, when they did the Repatriation Act in the 1920s, 60% of those people were citizens. There's
Hmm.
entire generations of Mexicans and Latinos who were citizens and their descendants are still citizens, but they're being seen as illegal immigrants when they're from here and they were from here. You
Right.
know, like the division that they purposely created about us is just it worked, obviously. Because people really do look at us and think like you're not from here. Bitch,
Yeah.
like I don't have to put suntan lotion or fucking fucking what do people why people use to not burn in the sun? I forgot.
Zinc.
No. No, the cream fucking
It's
sun
zinc, sunscreen.
oh really?
But
Oh.
like
Yeah.
zinc, the white stuff that like the stuff that's white that like covers your whole face, like that nerds have on their nose, that's zinc.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't wear sunscreen. I should. I know I should. But I don't burn in the sun like a bitch. I'm from here. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I don't know how else to like explain that to people.
Cut to me in front of the federal building, absolutely blathering myself in sunscreen, absolutely covering my whole face. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just racism. It's also this, I was thinking about this idea that like you see this a lot where it's like, oh, people who want to support the homeless are people who've never worked with the homeless. Like that thing that people say. And I was like, I doubt that you would even know. Like there's so many people that I'm around or that I interact with that other people have been taught to fear. And I
Mhm.
think part of it is for me is like lucky and unlucky in some ways. Like I grew up in like an addict and alcoholic home. And so my dad had friends from everywhere. He eventually got sober. He works in like, you know, he does stuff with sober living. I would go to AA with him. Like I've been to Al-Anon my whole life. So there's a sphere of person that I was exposed to that my dad had over, that blah blah blah, all this stuff. Was it a complete fucking mess? Yes.
Mhm.
I don't have the whatever the remove is. And I think a lot of it is the privilege of looking male. I think that is like I have this basic sort of like, what up, man? Like there's already a buddy connection,
Yeah.
which I have found has increased as I've transitioned. There's a more of a respect from all kinds of men, including like homeless men or, you know, people I pass on the street where I'm like, hey, buddy, do you need help? They're much more likely to talk to me.
Mhm.
I think because I present male. So that is, I understand, a privilege and it's definitely different. And I know from being on both sides and more willing to believe that I have the capacity to help, more
Mhm.
willing to take me seriously as someone who can like provide something. And that has been a gift because it has allowed me to have it normalized that people in my life are different from each other
Mhm.
in a way that when I come across other people in Los Angeles who are white, that hasn't been their experience.
Yeah.
It's not their experience that like their dad would just let people sleep on the floor. And honestly, there is this when I do bring that stuff up sometimes, there's a anger that people have towards my father where they're like, why would he has two daughters, why would he let random people in the house? And it's like, well, nothing ever happened to me. I guess that's also lucky, but yeah, I don't know. I haven't really figured that out because it is surprising to me when people don't when people act as if someone laying on the ground isn't there, I guess.
Mhm. No, I know what you mean. I think it
Yeah.
comes from, I don't even know how to word it. I mean, I feel like all that stuff, I mean, it's all rooted at some point, the way that other people think in some kind of Eurocentric mind, you know, like, oh, the poor, the impoverished, they're sick, they're gross, they're bad.
Yeah, but I'm not better than anyone because I will say when I first went down to the MDC, I didn't speak Spanish. I was white. I wasn't quite sure how to approach. It's mostly Latinos down there at that point, or black people, and or Latino black people. And I wasn't quite sure how to approach the group without being like Steve Buscemi in 30 Rock. Like, how do you do, fellow kids? Like I wasn't sure how to not be a loser, kind of.
Mhm.
So, and that is like a form of racism where I was like, whoa, these people are cool. I gotta sort of get in with,
Yeah.
like this idea that I like couldn't approach regular.
Yeah, like a microaggression, I guess, technically.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, I was gonna talk about the class like division on top of that because
Yeah.
I mean I've seen that too. It's just so I don't know, it's just weird. I feel like the difference between people that are fearful of homeless and aren't is just that they don't ask like why don't you have your shit together? Like they don't like I don't think that when I see them. I think like
Mm-hmm.
what happened to you? Like
What happened?
what
Yeah.
happened? Because I've met so I used to live near a park where a bunch of homeless people would gather. So to
Mm-hmm.
speak to them houses all the time, especially as a
Mm-hmm.
I mean I used to go there even as a kid and I never got hurt. Were there some people that were like obviously mentally unwell? Of course, like that's why
Mm-hmm.
they're there.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, sometimes the encampments got dirty and crazy, but I mean,
Mm-hmm.
they're kind of like forced there, you know? Like
Right.
they're stuck in a cycle, and the sooner we are able to help them clean up that cycle, the sooner it just becomes better for everybody. Like those people are still in our society, no matter what your view is. The thing, like everything going on with ICE and Border Patrol, is the way that those kinds of people treat everything else. They want to stay in their neighborhoods and they keep the white picket fence, shut everything out, but like it's not going anywhere. This isn't going
Mm-hmm.
to go anywhere. Those homeless people aren't going to go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that you think is gonna uphold your comfort like life in Los Angeles isn't gonna go anywhere. It's still gonna be there no matter what. When as soon as you
Yeah.
step out, it's gonna be there. You can condemn it, you can be mad about it, you can ignore it, but like it's not going anywhere. It's there. Like fucking obviously it needs to be fixed at some point. You know, you can
Yeah.
ignore it forever.
Well, I was intimidated by you initially
Really?
because, yeah, because I thought, okay, this person is Latino. He knows a lot more about this than I do. Maybe if I talk to him, I'm going to sound dumb. Or like, I had this idea that you were a very serious person and that you were like doing all of this serious work and that there was nothing I could say to you that wouldn't sound like white and idiotic.
Mhm. But that's fine though. I mean, you everyone that doesn't
But
know
why don't I
anything.
feel that way about white people?
Yeah, I know.
Right.
It's just I don't know.
Why is there an assumption that there's an aggressiveness to you?
Yeah, I know. I've talked to some people about that before actually. I've had like altercations with like specific community watchers and it's usually white females and like start attacking me and making it seem like I'm this aggressive man. And like I don't I'm 5'6" and I'm like
No,
you know what I
once
mean?
I talked to you one time, I was like, oh, he's kind of smiley and like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not like I'm not serious. I take what I do seriously, you
Hmm.
know? But I mean I don't know. I grew up with a lot of funny people. Latinos are funny, guys. Please trust me.
Extremely funny.
Like
Holy, I've never been roasted harder in my life. Holy shit.
like they're just funny people. I mean, even
Yeah.
like there's even videos of some like Mexicans, and even after they get taken by ICE, they're just like trying to make the best of it. Like I don't know, but they're funny as fuck. Trust me. But I was telling these white girls like, have you never like seen what happens when like white women start accusing black men of crimes that they didn't really commit? Like, do you not realize that you're talking about white supremacy, you're talking about all these things, but then you're doing
Yeah.
that. Like, obviously, there's patriarchal roots, but
Hmm.
you can't like just utilize that to justify like the way you're condemning a black man as a white woman when they
Hmm.
didn't really do anything. I don't know.
The immediate assumption from me, without talking to you, that you would have some sort of hard shell.
Yeah, it's appearance. I know, and it's like asking yourself, like, why do I feel like that? You know, I have to catch that too, because sometimes I'll meet other people of color, and I'm thinking like I should probably approach them a specific way, and I do think that too. Like, why do I feel like that? Even against
Hmm.
like other Latinos, as a
Hmm.
Latino, I'm like, this food looks harder than me, and I'm like, why do I think that? Like, he's just a kid, you know?
The amount of guys downtown who are like covered like the most face tattoos you've ever seen in your life
Mhm.
and then are just the goofiest motherfuckers.
Yeah, they're
Like, are
goofballs.
you trying to look hard, but then you just are like
No,
at some
yeah.
point in your life you wanted to look tough, and whatever it is has not
Yeah. The
crossed
thing is that
over.
it's just cultural. Like, I never wanted to
Yeah.
be hard. It's just like,
What do
you
your
know,
knuckles say?
I got this in high school. Okay, that's why it's a dumb word. It says mischief because it's like It's like travieso, but in
Yeah.
English. I just thought it would make me different. I was like, I'm not travieso. I'm like mischievous. So stupid. I
Wow.
was 16 when I got it, so and I only got it because my mom. I wanted to get a yin yang tattoo. I ended up getting that too, just a little tiny
Yeah.
ankle. And my mom was like, "No, I'm not signing for that." And I'm like, "If you don't sign for it, I'm gonna get it anyway. I'm gonna come back with something worse." And yeah, I came back with that, this shit on my knuckles, and then I got the sun tattoo and this moon tattoo. Like I got all these tattoos like at the same time.
Who among us doesn't have a moon tattoo? There was like a tweet that was like, hey, like young queer person who went through trauma, how's that inner wrist tattoo treating you? And I was like, fuck. Anyway, Izzy, where can people find you and more about you?
Instagram, IZZYMIREZ. Izzy Ramirez without the RA because it was not available. And also on LA Taco, lataco.com. You can always consider subscribing if you feel so enticed to do so. But all our
Get
ice
some
stuff,
socks, baby.
our socks are cool as fuck. But all our ice coverage is free, by the way. Everything, like all the other stuff we have the subscription for, but all the ice stuff is free. So if you do want to catch up, lataco.com, LA Taco on Instagram, Izzy MIREZ on Instagram as well.
Thank you so much. This was fun.
This was. I feel like I was on a fucking YouTube show.
Thank you for listening to 1,000 Natural Shocks, a Bad with Money podcast. This is a noted bisexual production, edited by Ali Mims. Logo art by Dakota Becker. If you like the show, please consider subscribing to the Substack, 1000naturalshocks.substack.com. The Substack has episodes of this show ad-free and also videos and also my original writing. It would mean so much to me if you would subscribe, even as a free subscriber, but a paid subscriber really allows me to keep doing this work, and I can't do it without you guys. Thank you so much. Okay, love you. Bye.